Hi guys, and welcome back to another tutorial in the series Clinic Management System in C#. So in this tutorial, we're actually implementing the visits for the doctors, right? Where we can edit an existing visit or add a new visit, view all the visits of that patient, and so on. So we're gonna make the doctor access the visits from the view reservations form that we did in the last tutorial. So what we're gonna want to do is add a new button right here. I'm gonna copy the edit button and just place it right here, right? So this is going to be just visits. Let's call it visits. And what visits does is actually it opens the visits form that we are about to create now. So right click on the project name, click add, and choose Windows Form. We're gonna name it visits. So I click on the visits, go to view code, and want to actually add some parameters in the constructor. So we want to pass an integer for the account underscore ID, which is actually going to be the ID of the doctor, and then end patient underscore ID and end reservation underscore ID. And we want to create some variables here, end account underscore ID, patient underscore ID, and reservation underscore ID. So in the constructor, we're going to type this dot account underscore ID is equal to account underscore ID. And this dot patient underscore ID is equal to patient underscore ID, and this dot reservation underscore ID is equal to reservation underscore ID. Okay. So the next thing that we're gonna want to do is go back to the reservations, view reservations form, double click on the visits button, and we're going to fetch these parameters, which are in the listbox1.selected item, and we're going to extract them from the reservation class that we did in the last tutorial. So what we're going to want to do is just copy this code from here, from the update form function, and just want to copy this, paste it right here. So now we have access to our selected reservation. So we want to hide this form, then want to create an object from the visits class. Going to be visits is equal to new visits, and actually it takes the account ID, which is account underscore ID, and the patient underscore ID, which is res.patient.key, and the reservation underscore ID, which is res.id. Then we want to show that form, so visits.show dialog, and then we want to show again our form. So going back to the design view, we want this button to be enabled only if the account type is a doctor. So we're going to go to our code and go to the function update form that we created in the last tutorial, and just right after this check, we want to check if account underscore type is equal to 1, then this is a doctor. Then we want button to enable to be actually true, else button to the enable equals false. All right. Okay, so that's it with the reservation form. I'm gonna close this here, and we just want to add a couple of text boxes, a list box, in order to add the visits, edit the visits, or view the visits. Okay, so here's the final look of our form. So here we have the group box for add visit with text boxes for reasons, diagnosis, notes, and then the add visit button. Then we have the previous visits, and then we have the visit details where we can edit the reasons, diagnosis, and notes. So first of all, what we're going to want to do is create a class that we're going to call visit, just to manage the visits that are going to be displayed in this list box, so that when we click on a visit, its information is going to be loaded to these text boxes, right? So right click on our project and click add, and then choose class, and we want to name it just visit. So it's going to be public class actually. So we want to create public int visit underscore ID, and then public key value pair of int and string, which are going to be patient, secretary, doctor. And then a public date time, date, and then string reasons, diagnosis, and notes. Then we want to create our constructor now. So public visit, and it's going to take int visit underscore ID, int patient underscore ID, string patient underscore name, int secretary underscore ID, string secretary underscore name, int doctor underscore ID, string doctor underscore name, date time date, and string reasons, string diagnosis, and finally string notes. In this constructor, we're going to set our parameters to these arguments. So this, the visit underscore ID is equal to visit underscore ID, and patient is equal to new key value pair. I'm going to specify the patient underscore ID and patient underscore name, and then the secretary is equal to new key value pair, secretary underscore ID and secretary underscore name, and then doctor is equal to new key value pair of doctor underscore ID and doctor underscore name. And then this dot date is equal to date, this dot reasons is equal to reasons, this dot diagnosis is equal to diagnosis, and this dot notes is equal to notes. Okay, now we want to override the toString function to just display the reservation, the visit ID, and concatenate it with the date. So what we're going to want to do is type public override toString, and then we're going to return the visit underscore ID dot toString plus, and then we're going to put the date, so date dot toString, and we're going to specify the format of the date to be YYYY-MM-DD. And that's it. So now we're done with our visit class. So let's go back to our visit design view. And what we're going to want to do now is create the function that is going to update this list box. So right click on any place in the form, go to view code, and we want to create the function. So private void, gonna name it update list. Okay. So we need to be using system.data.sql client, and we want to just create our connection here. So SQL connection con is equal to new SQL connection. I'm going to provide our connection string, which is in properties.resources.connection string, and we want to create our command. So SQL command command, and that's it. And in the update list, we're going to want to call command is equal to con.createCommand, then command.command text is going to equal to. So this is actually going to be a big query. So let's get started with it. So we want to get the visit ID, the patient name, simply all the parameters that we're going to pass into the constructor of our visit class. So we want to get visit underscore ID patient dot account underscore ID. Remember, in the last tutorial, we used several instances. We used an instance for the patient, an instance for the secretary, and then we just put the join conditions between the tables in the where clause, right? This is what we're gonna do now, but we're gonna have extra tables. So patient.account underscore ID and patient.account underscore name. Then we have the secretary.account underscore ID and secretary.account underscore name. Then doctor.account underscore ID and doctor.account underscore name. Then the visit underscore date, the visit underscore reasons, the visit underscore diagnosis, and the visit underscore notes, right? So our tables are gonna be actually the visit table, the reservation table, and the account table as patient, and the account as secretary, and the account as doctor. So these are all the tables that we're dealing with here. We're gonna now put our join conditions between all of these tables. So where visit underscore reservation underscore ID is equal to reservation underscore ID, and reservation underscore patient underscore ID is equal to patient dot account underscore ID, and reservation underscore secretary underscore ID is equal to secretary underscore secretary dot account underscore ID. This is and here. I'm sorry about that. And okay. So now we made the join conditions between the reservation table and the visit table, the reservation and the patient, and the reservation and the account. So now we have visit underscore doctor underscore ID is equal to doctor dot account underscore ID. So I think we're done with our join conditions. Now we are actually going to fetch all the visit records for some patients, right? So we're gonna add and patient underscore ID is equal to at patient underscore ID. So we're gonna now specify this parameter. So command.parameters.add with value patient at patient underscore ID, right? And then we specify our patient ID, which is actually patient underscore ID that we got in our constructor, right? So now we want to execute this command actually. So con.open and con.close. And this is obviously gonna be execute reader. So SQL data reader is equal to command.execute reader. And we want to first clear our list box. So list box one.items.clear, and then we're gonna loop while reader.read. And let's fetch our parameters in separate variables. So int visit underscore ID is gonna be reader.getIn32 and then int patient underscore ID is equal to reader.getIn32 and then string patient underscore name is equal to reader.getString2 and then int secretary underscore ID is equal to reader.getIn32 of 3, and we're going to continue in the same manner. And then we're going to add the visit date. So date time, you guys just call it date, right? Is equal to new date time, and date time the parse. We're gonna give it a string reader.get value of 7.toString, and then out date. And then we're having the string reasons is equal to reader.get string of 8, then string diagnosis is equal to reader.get string of 9, and finally string notes is equal to reader.get string of 10. Right? So we're done now with our variables. Let's create the record in the, or put the item in the list box. So list box one.items.add, we're gonna add a new visit, right? And we're gonna specify our parameters. So visit underscore ID, patient underscore ID, patient underscore name, secretary underscore ID, secretary underscore name, doctor underscore ID, doctor underscore name, then the date, the reasons, the diagnosis, and finally the notes, right? The semicolon. And we are done with the with this function actually. So let's go back to our visits design view, and what we want to do actually is, first of all, before calling the list box update function, we want to just check the past reservation ID. So if we already have visit recorded with this ID, then we cannot add another visit to that reservation ID, if you know what I mean. So if this is the case, then we want to just disable this group box. Let's go back to our code in the visits, and we want to just go all the way up to the constructor here, right? And we want to perform our checks here. So what we're going to want to do is actually create our command. So command is equal to con.create command, and then command text is equal to select visit underscore ID, for example, from visit, where visit underscore reservation underscore ID is equal at reservation underscore ID, right? And command parameters add with value at reservation underscore ID, and we're gonna add our reservation underscore ID. And want to open our connection, so con.open, and then con.close. So command dot, actually this is an execute scalar, right? So we want to just store the result in a variable. So var result is equal to command dot execute scalar, and we want to check if result is equals to null, then we don't have any record for this reservation ID. So what we're going to want to do is enable the group box. So group box one.enable is equal to true, else then group box one.enable is equal to false. Okay, and then what we're going to want to do is just call the update list function. So update list. Okay, let's go back to our design. So now we updated the list. So we want to, when we click, we want to actually fetch the the details of the visit when we click on it, right? So double click on the list box 1 and we want to type if list box 1 dot selected index is less than 0, or list box 1 dot selected index is greater than or equal to list box 1 dot items dot count. So this is actually a boundary check. Then if this is the case, then message box dot show please select a visit, right? And then we want to return without doing anything. Well, if we're good, then we're gonna load the information from the list box selected item into our text box. So we're gonna create an object from the visit class. We're gonna be v is equal to list box 1 dot selected item, and we want to actually cast this to a visit class. So visit, and that's it. So let's go back to our design view to check the text boxes. So the visit ID is text box 4. This is 5, 6, 7, all the way to 11, right? So let's go back to our code. So text box for the text is gonna be equal to v.id, the visit ID dot toString, and then text box 5 dot text is equal to v.patient dot toString, and then text box 6 dot text is equal to v.secretary dot toString, and text box 7 dot text is equal to v.doctor dot toString. Then text box 8 dot text is for the date, so v.date dot toString, and text box 9 dot text is the reasons, so v.reasons, and text box 10 dot text is equal to v.diagnosis, and finally text box 11 dot text is equal to v.notes, right? All right, let's go back to our design view. So we're done with loading the information into our text boxes. So now let's actually implement the add visit button. So double click on the add visit. And first of all, we want to check that the text box 1 and 2 for reasons and diagnosis are not empty, and then add our visit. So let's go back to our code, and we want to perform these validation checks first. So if text box 1 dot text is equal to an empty string, or text box 2 dot text is equal to an empty string, then we'll just display a message box to the user, message box dot show please enter reasons and diagnosis. Okay, and then we want to just return. So if this is not the case, then we are good. Then command is equal to con.create command, and con.open, con.close. Command text is equal to insert into visit. We want to insert actually the visit underscore ID, the visit underscore reasons, visit underscore diagnosis, visit underscore notes, and visit underscore doctor underscore ID, and finally visit underscore date. So we want to insert the values, which are at ID, at reasons, at diagnosis, at notes, at doctor underscore ID, and at date. And that's it. By a semicolon, and then command the parameters, the add with value, and we want to add the add ID, which is actually we're not adding the visit ID actually, we're adding the visit underscore reservation underscore ID. Okay, so that reservation ID is going to be reservation underscore ID, and command the parameters, the add with value, and then we want to add the reasons. So reasons which are in text box 1.text, then command.parameters.add with value the diagnosis in text box 2.text, command.parameters.add with value add notes in text box 3.text, then command.parameters.add with value add doctor underscore ID, which is actually the account underscore ID, and finally command.parameters.add with value, and we're gonna want to add the date, so visit underscore date. Visit underscore date, or I called it add date, sorry about that. Add date, which is actually datetime.now. Alright, so we're done with our parameters. We want to now open our connection. We already opened it. Okay. We want to now execute this query. So command dot, this is an execute non-query actually, and we want to check if the result is greater than 0. So if command.execute non-query is greater than 0, then we're good. Message box.show visit was added. Else message box.show failed to add the visit. Alright, so we are done with our add visit now, and we want to implement the edit visit. So double click on the edit visit button, but before doing this we have to perform the validation checks on text box 9 and 10 for the reasons and diagnosis. So double click on the edit visit, and we want to perform the validation check first. So if text box 9.text is equal to an empty string, or text box 10.text is equal to an empty string, then we want to do the same thing. Message box.show please enter reasons and diagnosis, and then we want to return. If this is not the case, then we want to update this visit. So command is equal to con.create command, and then command.command text is equal to update, then the table, which is visit set visit underscore reasons equals at reasons, and visit underscore diagnosis is equal to at diagnosis, and visit underscore notes is equal to at notes, where the visit underscore ID is equal to add ID, right? And we want to specify these parameters. So the parameters is equal to the add with value at reasons actually, which are in text box 9.text, and then command.parameters.add with value at diagnosis, which are in text box 10.text, and command.parameters.add with value at notes, which are in text box 11.text, right? And finally, command.parameters.add with value at ID, which is actually gonna be the it's going to be in this text box here, text box 4. So text box 4.text, and that's it. And we want to open our connection, so con.open and then con.close. And then if command.execute non-query is greater than 0, then we are good. Message box.show visit was updated. Else message box.show failed to update the visit. Let's double click on the visit button and call the update list function when we finish, and also double click on the edit visit button, and when we finish we're gonna call again the update list function. Okay, so in the update list function, we actually missed something. We missed the select keyword in our query, and also we're having a typo here. The end of the command text, patient dot, it's not patient underscore ID, it's actually account underscore ID, right? So that's it, and let's run our program. We're gonna log in as doctor, 1, 2, 3, go to view reservations, and there's a reservation on 21. We gotta choose this, we gotta go to visits, and has no visits actually. So let's add the reasons, diagnosis, and the notes. And I want to add the visit, right? Visit was added. Okay, so this is visit number 1, and this is the date of the visit. So we're gonna choose this visit. Then its information is loaded here. So these are the reasons. This is the reasons to new reasons. For example, let's edit the visit. Visit was updated, and we are good to go, right? Let's close this now, and let's go to visits again. And we see that this group box is no longer active because there is already a visit with this reservation ID. One thing that we can do is actually disable this group box when we add a visit. So let's do it quickly. We want to double click on our add visit, and at the end of this code, after the call for the update list function, we want to just call group box 1.enable is equal to false, and we should be good to go. So we are done with the visits for now. So that's it guys for this tutorial, and catch you in the next one.